Welcome to Personalities Summarized for You, the segment of this channel where we discuss the life and contributions of history's most famous people. Today, we dive into the life of one of America's most complex and controversial presidents, Richard Milhouse Nixon. From humble beginnings in California to the heights of global diplomacy and the depths of political scandal, Nixon's story is one of ambition, resilience, and lasting impact. Let's journey through his life, one pivotal moment at a time. Richard Nixon was born on January 9, 1913, in Yorba Linda, California, to a modest Quaker family. His early years were shaped by hardship. Two of his brothers died young, and his family often struggled financially. Despite the challenges, Nixon excelled academically, winning a scholarship to Duke University School of Law after graduating from Whittier College in 1934. These formative years taught him discipline and grit, qualities that would define his political ascent. By the late 1930s, Nixon was already carving a path into public service, driven by an unshakable desire to make his mark. During World War II, Nixon served in the U.S. Navy, where he earned a reputation for his administrative skills rather than battlefield heroics. In 1946, he launched his political career by winning a seat in the House of Representatives, defeating five-term incumbent Jerry Voorhis. Just 4 years later, in 1950, he jumped to the U.S. Senate, gaining national attention for his staunch anti-communist stance during the early Cold War. His aggressive style caught the eye of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who selected Nixon as his running mate in 1952. At just 39, Nixon became Vice President of the United States, and his name was now etched into the fabric of American politics. Nixon's vice presidency was unlike any before. It was active, visible, and international. He traveled extensively, representing Eisenhower abroad and promoting American ideals during the height of Cold War tensions. In 1952, his career was nearly derailed by accusations of financial impropriety, but his televised Checkers speech turned public opinion in his favor. It was one of the first times a politician used television to connect emotionally with voters. Nixon's political instincts and his dog Checkers helped him survive the storm and solidify his role on the national stage. Nixon's ambition led him to run for president in 1960 against a young and charismatic John F. Kennedy. The televised debates worked against Nixon, who appeared tired and pale next to the confident Kennedy. He lost by one of the narrowest margins in U.S. history, a defeat that stung deeply. In 1962, Nixon ran for governor of California and lost again, famously telling reporters, "You won't have Nixon to kick around anymore." Many believed his political career was over, but Nixon was not one to fade quietly. Surprising everyone, Nixon staged one of the greatest comebacks in American politics. Capitalizing on social unrest, anti-war sentiment, and a divided Democratic Party, he re-emerged as a voice of the silent majority. In 1968, he won the presidency, defeating Hubert Humphrey and independent candidate George Wallace. Nixon promised law and order at home and peace with honor in Vietnam. After years in the political wilderness, Nixon was back and more determined than ever. Nixon's first term brought significant achievements. He created the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, in 1970 and oversaw the desegregation of Southern schools. But his most remarkable legacy lies in foreign policy. In 1972, he made a historic visit to China, meeting with Mao Zedong and re-establishing diplomatic relations after decades of isolation. That same year, he also visited the Soviet Union, signing the SALT I Treaty with Leonid Brezhnev, ushering in a new era of détente in the Cold War. Despite promises to end the Vietnam War, Nixon expanded the conflict into Cambodia and Laos, sparking widespread protests, including the tragic Kent State shootings in 1970. Eventually, he pursued a strategy of Vietnamization, shifting combat responsibilities to South Vietnamese forces. The Paris Peace Accords, signed in January 1973, led to a ceasefire and the withdrawal of U.S. troops. At home, Nixon's presidency was marked by deepening political polarization, economic challenges, and growing mistrust of government. In 1972, A break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex would become the seed of Nixon's downfall. As investigations progressed, it was revealed that Nixon had attempted to cover up the scandal, leading to a constitutional crisis. The smoking gun tape, released in August 1974, proved Nixon's involvement in the cover-up. Facing certain impeachment, Richard Nixon resigned on August 8, 1974, becoming the first and only U.S. president to resign from office. His departure marked the end of an era and a profound reckoning for American democracy. After his resignation, Nixon retreated from public life but slowly rebuilt his image through writing and foreign policy commentary. His books, including R.N., The Memoirs of Richard Nixon and Beyond Peace, offered insights into his presidency and world affairs. By the time of his death on April 22, 1994, at the age of 81, Nixon had begun to regain respect as a global strategist, though the shadow of Watergate never fully disappeared. Leaders from around the world, including former presidents and foreign dignitaries, attended his funeral, reflecting his enduring, if complicated, legacy. Richard Nixon's life was a tapestry of triumph and tragedy, genius and paranoia, achievement and downfall. He opened doors to China, reduced nuclear tensions, and redefined the presidency, only to lose it all in one of the greatest scandals in American history. His story remains a cautionary tale about the limits of power and the price of ambition. In the end, Richard Nixon left behind a legacy that continues to provoke debate, inspire study, and shape the course of American history. If you found Nixon's life story compelling, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Summarized for You, where history's biggest names are told in the most fascinating ways. Turn on the notification bell for more bite-sized biographies and year-by-year breakdowns of world events.